I took a psychology class and I was like, oh, this is like how I think about the world. Like it really captured me. And so I was like, this makes sense. So I'm going to go in this route. And then I was like, well, then now what? What can I do with this? And I was like, well, I want people to connect through healing because I feel like growing up, I felt like there was this missing piece of like how I thought about the world that wasn't validated by the world. And then I was like, there's got to be other people that feel that same way and need like a voice or like some other person to hear them and be there for them. And so that's kind of how I made that decision of going from psychology, very broad, right, to something a little more narrow. And then I got even more narrow in doing marriage and family therapy degree versus a different type of professional degree because I just really geared towards relationships and see them as very powerful for our own healing. And so I really wanted to be a part of that experience. I specialized in eating disorders because of my own experience and relationship to food. And realizing that this was a niche that wasn't very common or like talked about, like throughout many programs, you don't really talk about food or that relationship to like our mind and our body, that connection. So I was like, this needs to be talked about. It can only get better. Like it can't get worse to reach out for help, right? Because you're at rock bottom or you're close to rock bottom or you've seen it before. So seeking help can only help you. And I think that would have really helped me and other people because like it doesn't feel temporary. It feels like forever. Like I'm always going to feel this way. It's never going to get better. Just to hear someone else say that it's possible for things to be different. I'm very integrative, so I don't feel like there's like a one size fit all approach. I keep it very individualized. So in the beginning, I spend a lot of time getting to know my clients, very person centered, if you've ever heard that term, and really getting to know my client. I use a variety of approaches, so I might use what's called cognitive behavioral therapy, which is looks at how our thoughts and our behaviors are connected. A little bit of like acceptance and commitment therapy, accepting where we're at, mindfulness. I bring that into my practice too. I'll bring in some like attachment and family systems things. You think more towards like Freudian, like let's look at your past and your past relationships. Because even though a lot of my stuff is like very centered, present focus, I think that going back in the past can bring up old wounds, old habits that they served a survival purpose for us, that like a lot of the eating disorder stuff was a survival mechanism, right? Even though it's not the best, right? Because if you're not eating, it's not the best survival, but that is an adaptation to that. And so it's important to look at like, well, why did that come about? What is that serving you? I think it's probably one of the most complex things out there. Like you could have 10 people with all meet criteria for bulimia, and then they would have completely different representations of it. Right? They might have similar symptoms, but what's going on behind that may look really different. Finding some way to engage them that's from them. Like it might not be this overarching goal of helping them with the eating disorder, but something smaller in which that person can hold on to so that they do come in, that they at least have some kind of buy-in, right? Because if you're not bought into the idea, what are you going to get? You gotta find something that you can connect with them around, because obviously there's something going on that they can talk about. They might not be ready. They might not. Talk therapy might not be the first approach, depending on what's going on. Right?
So when you say like start smaller, it could be maybe something not even related or something related to the eating disorder, but not the eating disorder itself. Like if they're feeling depressed, because I imagine depression can go along with an eating disorder. So maybe
They're like, oh, I just want to be happier.
yeah,
Yeah.
like reaching out about the depression, and then eventually maybe that will seep into the eating disorder.
Right, because there's going to be patterns around food, around whatever they're going to want to talk, or whatever's going to be brought up if they do decide, I'm going to come in, but I don't want to focus on the eating disorder, I want to focus on this. There's going to be patterns around food, around that. But hopefully over time, with rapport building and trust being built between you and the client, that can finally be talked about. There's a really good resource that's called NEDA, N-E-D-A, and it's the acronym National Eating Disorders Association. And you can go to their website, and they have a really good free hotline or screening. It's really great. Family members can go on there if they're concerned about a loved one, and it can show them oh, well, maybe this person needs to go to the hospital, or it can kind of get them in the right direction. So much about eating disorders is around isolation, and so to have connection, and a positive connection, is so important for healing. And so if we can identify who those people are, bring them into the treatment process, it's super healing. So more the merrier, I'd say.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching, and I want to thank Becca for joining me and talking some psychology. If you want to check out Becca's website, I'll include a link in the bottom here. She's a therapist in Oregon, and in the future I would like to make more videos like this with other professionals and cover any questions that anyone might have. I know there's a lot of information out there on the internet. A lot of it is not backed by science or research, so something I would like to see is more information that is backed with real data. If you do have any other questions, or there's a topic you want to see covered, just let me know, and I'll try to ask someone and get some more information up. Again, thanks so much for watching. If you liked the video, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Also, if you think this music is rad, if you like it, my sister composed it, so I will also leave a link to her Instagram if you want to check out more of her music and her works. You can find it there. Alright, thank you guys so much. Hope you have a great day.